standing here with my brave and valiant client, Dr. Jerome Corsi, and his wife, Monica Corsi. And the American people owe a great debt of gratitude to them. You know me as Larry Clayman. I'm their counsel. Hickey Gray is another one of their counsels. He's not here today. But we came here to assert the rights, not just of Dr. Corsi, but of every American citizen to be free from unconstitutional surveillance without probable cause. And ever since the revelations of Edward Snowden and other whistleblowers that came forward, we've known about this illegal surveillance. The judge that the case was assigned to as a related case, I would submit that it properly belongs in front of this judge, but we're not down and we're not out. We just simply get another judge. That's all. Apparently he didn't want the case. Because this is a tough case. We're going up against a very powerful Justice Department, of which Special Counsel Mueller is a part, the National Security Agency, the CIA, and the FBI, who have trampled on the people's rights. And of course, they trampled on Dr. Corsi's rights, because Special Counsel Robert Mueller, conducting his affairs of state as King George III would have done in the days leading up to 1776, told Dr. Corsi that unless he was live, under oath, that he would be indicted. And they offered him a plea deal. Because Dr. Corsi is an honest man, and he will not lie. He will not say things that are not true under oath. He said, no, you can take a hike. I'm not going to lie. But Dr. Corsi is the one person thus far in this whole sordid witch hunt of Robert Mueller who's totally out of control. With the Justice Department, as I told the judge, which is my alma mater that at one time I was proud of, to become the Department of Injustice. And of course, Mueller is an arm of the Justice Department. And no one's in control over there except Mueller. Everything he does gets rubber stamped, formerly by Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, and now you've got the other acting Attorney General, who is not playing a role. He's been neutered by all of the criticism that he's been under. We don't have an Attorney General, and Mueller is out of control. So we are asserting our rights, and we're the first to do it. It's something the President should have done a long time ago. The President's made reference to Dr. Corsi, thanks for his efforts. But yes, this case is going on, and we are hopeful that we will get an independent jurist. You see, the government, you could use that term loosely. I'm not sure we have the government anymore that protects the people. The government is scared of this judge because he previously made two rulings in my favor. He enjoined the National Security Agency during the Obama years of illegal surveillance. Later, it was mooted out because the USA Freedom Act came into effect. That was a reaction to the favorable rulings I obtained in Clayman versus NSA and the other agencies, including the FBI. And the cases are up on appeal next week. You're invited to come if you can on January 9th in front of the District of Columbia Circuit Court of Appeals. There was a new case in the interim called Carpenter, which found that, in fact, there's no reason to moot these cases out. Even Justice Kavanaugh admitted at his hearings that no longer can stand that the USA Freedom Act protects everybody. So to make a long story short, with all due respect to this jurist who I like, that he made decisions in the past that are up on appeal, Dr. Corsi's case will be continuing on. We will hold Mueller accountable. We are not afraid. We are representing not just his interests and Mrs. Corsi's interests, but the interests of the American people. Because no matter what race, color, creed you are, no matter whether you're liberal, conservative, moderate, we can all agree that our justice system has broken down, become tyrannical in many ways, like we saw in the days leading up to the revolution. Small people are crushed because of the political elite in this city, of both political parties, not just Democrat, but Republican. Both establishments were destroyed. Wanted to use Dr. Corsi to do it through Special Counsel Robert Mueller. Remember, Mueller is an establishment Republican, and they want to run their candidates in 2020. And that's what it's about. And little people that get caught in between, like Dr. Corsi, are the ones that pay the price. And I can tell you, as someone who has been a lawyer for 42 years, who founded Judicial Watch, ran for the U.S. Senate in 2004, didn't win, came out, started Freedom Watch, I will not stand for it. And I am proud to have a client like Jerry Corsi, who to stand up to the Justice Department that has become the Department of Injustice.
What did he ask your client to lie about?
I'll let Dr. Corsi explain that.
I'll get to that in a minute. First of all, thank you all for being here. This is a case that we cannot lose, regardless of outcome. Today, we won the first of many victories. I'm here because of my faith in Jesus Christ and my belief that I would not lie to stay out of prison. The one count that the special prosecutor wanted me to swear, I knowingly and willfully presented to the special counsel of the FBI, knowing it was false with an intent to deceive, was actually testimony that the special counsel allowed me to amend. And the refusal to acknowledge the amendment, I would have to swear on a Bible that I had committed that crime when I did not, was what motivated me to be here today. Now, we're faced against a massive power at the deep state, and we may lose this court case. We may not get a judge in favor, but this court case has only just begun. We've only just begun to fight. It'll go all the way to the Supreme Court. I advise, actually, Justice Department's best strategy would be just to settle it now, because I don't intend to stop. We've just been handed a platform by those who want this country to continue, including, I believe, God. It is one of the greatest platforms any citizen of the United States has ever been given, on which to stand in front of the American people and say that we're just a few miles from Arlington Cemetery. I've walked that cemetery many times, in tears, for the men and women who, since this republic was founded, have fought and died, that we would not become George III, empowered with a massive surveillance state. And I'm here to tell every one of you today that if you don't take my case seriously, all of you will be under surveillance in the future, charged with crimes for your beliefs, charged with crimes because you don't acquiesce to the deep state. And I will fight this until I die. I'll go to prison and fight this until I die. And I'll thank God for the great opportunity to have been given this moment. I'm sorry I basically only have one life at 72 years old to fight this battle. I wish I were younger and could fight it for another few decades. But in my remaining years, I thank God that we have this opportunity, that we're standing at this moment in history, and I thank each and every one of you for being here. And I want to remind you, and all those listening, that this is not just happening to me, but as Benjamin Franklin said, we have a republic as long as we can keep it. We're on the verge of losing it, and I will fight to my dying breath that we might keep it. Thank you all for being here. We'll take some questions.
Dr. Corsi, can you explain the FBI interest in your son-in-law, what he may have told them or known about?
It's my stepson, and it was interesting. The FBI came on his, knocked on his door. It's my stepson. He's 40 years old, and they intercepted, I guess, got a text message where I asked him to scrub a computer. Well, unlike Hillary Clinton, I wasn't destroying evidence. It was an old computer that I had on my desk that I had been using. My wife here needed a computer for her business, and I told Andrew, why don't you just take this old one? So Andrew said, I've got 2 German Shepherds in this house that can paste FBI, and I don't think you guys want to come in. But we're not scrubbing evidence. We're just trying to recycle a used computer that was old and not being used at all. It wasn't evidence that had anything to do with this case. I handed over all the computers I used, all the backup machinery, all the time machines. I gave to the FBI every possible thing. How could I wanted to deceive them when I gave them the evidence, well, largely from which they were questioning me, except for all the massive surveillance that they had, knowledge of my phone calls, leaking to the grand jury. These are issues that we are going to pursue. And some court at some point will hear us, even if it's the court of God.
Dr. Corsi, you said that you, in an interview that came out the other day, you said that you lied in the memo that you provided to
yes.
Roger Stone. And then he provided that memo as part of his testimony to the House Intelligence Committee. Are you concerned that you're saying that you committed conspiracy with Stone to deceive the House Intelligence Committee?
No. You've got to have to, you can't see the grand jury testimony. But it had to do with a memo I wrote for Roger Stone, which was really, public relations repositioning of Roger. And it's a complicated issue. I'm not going to get into it today. It's too complicated. But let me say that the grand jury accepted the testimony. I was given immunity by the special prosecutor on any issues that had to do with subordinating perjury or any other issues, because I was forthright in that testimony, and I openly discussed, in fact, having written the memo that's in question. The special prosecutor said there's nothing illegal about doing it. It wasn't wrong, commonly done in politics, and that it was characterized as a lie. It was simply one way to characterize all public relations. If every politician were held to that standard in America, I dare say they'd all be in prison.
Do you think they're going to use that to charge him?
I don't have a clue what they're going to. You need to ask that to them.
He seems to think you are.
You need to ask Roger what he thinks. I don't know what. I'm not going to argue with Roger. Roger Stone is entitled to his own opinions. He's entitled to his perception of how he sees things, and I'm entitled to mine. I don't intend to argue with him.
Dr. Corsi,
Yes.
I turned myself into a local news agency for indecent exposure on a minor.
Okay, he's not impressed.
And they attacked my victim's family,
so
and they attacked my family.
Sir,
Okay? And when I call the
Okay.
FBI, they just hang up on me.
sir, well, thank
Do you have any other evidence that the
How can you not
FBI
even
or
turn
that the special
yourself
counsel
in
spied
good
on you?
justice?
Yeah, we've got quite a bit of evidence that we've been.
Can you talk about that?
Pardon me?
Can you talk about that specific evidence?
Okay, I'm going to hold that for when we do get a chance in court. I know
Indecent
that
exposure, somebody arrest me.
I know that all the things I'm saying now will be monitored. We're continuously under surveillance. That's not going to
Little
stop.
girl needs protection.
And so I'm not going
And
to
no
comment on
one's
specific
doing
questions.
anything about
Okay,
it.
look, sir, if you'd like to be able to be heard, please behave.
You can talk
And then as when I'm finished, I'll give you the microphone. Is that okay?
Sure.
So you'll behave now,
Yes,
okay?
sir.
You won't interrupt it. Thank you.
Dr. Corsi, when was the last time you heard from the special counsel's office, and what was the communication?
When I rejected the plea deal and said I would not go before a federal judge and swear I had knowingly and willfully submitted evidence I knew to be false, the intent to deceive them, and I considered their plea deal to be fraudulent. The special prosecutor told my attorney, David Gray, who's still my attorney as well, as long as claimant, that they would take it from there. And that's the last we've heard from them.
Are you still expecting to be indicted?
So I have no idea what's going to happen at this point. Again, I know I did nothing wrong. And the special prosecutor said I did nothing wrong. In fact, the one count they wanted me to plead guilty to involved 2 emails I had forgotten that they subsequently allowed me to review and amend the testimony. So they were completely fraudulent, wanting me to plead guilty to the testimony that I had upended.
Let me add here in this point is that Special Counsel Mueller would be very unwise to indict Dr. Corsi, with all due respect, because it will give us an opportunity that no one else has had to challenge his mandate, the scope of his mandate, and his authority in the context of illegally surveilling him, his family, his friends, as well as releasing confidential grand jury information, which is part of this case. And just a week or so ago, confidential grand jury information about a witness involving Dr. Corsi benevolently raising funds for cancer victims, individuals who had testified in front of the grand jury, were leaked by Robert Mueller, which he's been doing now for 2 years. And how do they do this? Because I have a separate Freedom of Information Act lawsuit under Freedom Watch, which I brought, is that the press spokesperson, this is one means, Peter Carter, when he gets inquiries from the media, and you probably know this, and he's cozy with the people that are making the inquiries, he says, let's meet at Paul Restaurant down the street here at 801 Pennsylvania Avenue. Now, what would be the purpose of that unless he didn't want a paper record of the leaks? And we know that's been going on for 2 years. So we have a very strong case. We put our trust in God. We trust that we will get an independent judge. Now, this Justice Department did not want an independent judge. They're hoping they get an appointee, President Clinton or President Obama, or someone that they view as pro-Mueller. And that's what this was about today. But we are not out. This case is just beginning, and we're confident that we will win this case. And next week, in front of the D.C. Circuit, they're going to be considering the prior cases that Judge Leon had. It's found that they were moot at the time, but the Carpenter decision, which Judge Kavanaugh made reference during his confirmation hearing, said I would have voted differently if I had been on the D.C. Circuit after the Supreme Court decision. I'm confident that those cases will be coming back to Judge Leon. So while I respect the judge, he was dead wrong today. And we are just beginning to fight, as Dr. Corsi said.
Is this case going to expose
Pardon me?
the Clinton Foundation?
No, I don't think that we'll find the next judge, and we'll see out there the next judge is. I know that from today, the Department of Justice and the Mueller Special Counsel is dead afraid of discovery. They do not want you, the American public, knowing what goes on. It's why I wrote this book, Silent No More. It's a day-by-day description of what this Inquisition was like, the horror show, the psychological abuse we're put under to try to work with the special counselor. I advise everybody to listen to the audio version. I read the audio version myself, the whole version of that book. It's a horror show. And the special prosecutor cannot stand the light of day. They will fight to keep this case from being heard because they're afraid of me. One person, 72 years old, was saying to them, take a hike. And that's what I'm going to continue saying to them.
When was the last time your stepson heard from investigators?
I think the day they showed up and they decided they didn't want to go in and face the two German shepherds was the last time.
And when was that?
Oh, that was several months ago. I don't remember. I don't remember.
That's not the only thing that's happened, and we'll be prepared to lay that out in front of the court. In fact, I said to Judge Leon, and he made a statement that our allegations were conclusory. Well, they're not conclusory. I offered to have Dr. Corsi take the witness stand under oath and testify as to the illegal surveillance that's been
I got
perpetrated.
evidence even yesterday of leaking from Special Counsel Mueller's office, and we'll be prepared to present that in trial if we get there. And I'm hoping that we will have the opportunity. If we're denied, a motion to dismiss, that'll be the next thing that is going to be attempted. The prosecutors, Department of Justice, Mueller, cannot stand the light of day. They're afraid of the American people knowing the deep secrets they conduct on surveillance, on using the evidence psychologically to break witnesses, to play this memory game, which is a perjury trap, and I won't stand for it. I have not lied, I've done nothing wrong, and I'm going to continue fighting the battle.
And notice, no one from the special counsel's office was present today. They didn't want to come out into the daylight. They didn't want to give oxygen to the case because they know this
They
case
said it
is...
wasn't important earlier.
Well, I think we just won a victory today. I'm glad to have that point on the record.
Yeah.
If this case is unimportant to the Justice Department, then justice is unimportant to Mueller and his entire team. And that's what I'm here to tell you. They're not interested in justice. The Department of Justice is being run today by politically motivated criminals who will be happily engaged in criminal prosecutorial misconduct to impeach Donald Trump. That's their goal,
Yes, sir.
and they're dead set on it. The only testimony they're interested in is testimony, even if it's a lie, that fits their pattern.
And this is not the only action that we've taken. A few weeks before I filed this case for Dr. Corsi, we filed a criminal complaint with Acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker, with the head of the criminal division, with the U.S. Attorney here in Washington, D.C., with the Inspector General and the Office of Professional Responsibility, as well as the District of Columbia Bar Council, for unethical, illegal conduct by the prosecutors. Special Counsel Mueller and his conflicted staff, pro-Clinton, ultra-left prosecutors, picked to do a number on the President of the United States, which frankly all we discard.
Are you being targeted, Dr. Corsi, because of your expose killing the deep state, exposing the Mueller fraud, and connection to the Clinton Foundation and the FISA warrants?
I think I've been targeted since I co-authored with John O'Neill Unfit for Command against John Kerry. And as my David Bray said, look in your rear view mirror. There's a lot of corpses in the dead state, the Democrats that you oppose, and they're out to get you. I think that that's the case. It's a politically motivated attempt to destroy me because my crime was, number one, I supported Donald Trump, and I still do. My crime number two is I believe in Jesus Christ, and I still do. And I am thankful for this forum. Every time a judge rejects us, every time we're thrown out of court, we'll be back. And I'll have another forum like this, and it'll expand the case. This message has got to be heard by the American people, and it's going to take me dying in jail to do it. So be it. take one or two more questions.
As Dr. Corsi had said, one of the prosecutors, Jeannie Reed, who I went up against the Clinton Foundation years ago, she was representing the Clinton Foundation, was actually mocking his religious beliefs in closed session during these grand jury proceedings.
If you'll read Silent No More, I show Jeannie Reed ridicule my belief in God. Aaron Zelinsky accused my political writings of being a pack of lies. This was a politically motivated, and I've got proof in that book. Read it, listen to it. It's proof that this is politically motivated. Mueller is a politically motivated hack who is willing to engage in criminal prosecutorial misconduct to put scalps on his belt. I will not be one of those scalps.
Dr. Corsi, what would you recommend people that support you and support America remain independent? What can we do to defend our country from this?
First of all, I encourage the American people to pray, to return to God and to return to the principles of justice. If we allow the Department of Justice to weaponize politics and to begin putting everybody related to Donald Trump in prison because they supported Donald Trump, this country is headed towards totalitarianism. It's only a few steps from thought control to being prosecuted, persecuted with massive surveillance technology in place. The deep state will not be, even proceeding today, allowed to be revealed to the American people. And we're here to reveal it. People can pray. They have massive resources. Mueller can put 50 FBI agents. They said we have no idea how extensive our resources are. I was questioned out of an 8-inch thick binder of all the records of my life that they would not show me. But would rather say tab 1, here's something you wrote 2 years ago, and it contradicts your answer. It is, why don't you show me that to start with? This is a game that Mueller is playing. It has nothing to do with justice, the way Americans have fought and died for it since this republic was founded.
And as Alan Dershowitz, the famed law professor from Harvard, said recently, to indict somebody, there has to be materiality. And one thing to keep in mind, we know that the NSA in particular grabs every email, every telecommunication, whether it's cell phones or landlines, internet communications. They had all the information. They know whether there has been Russian collusion, which isn't even a crime, committed by Dr. Corsi and others. But they brought him in there because they were trying to set a perjury trial to get him to. But they have all the information. And this is what is so tyrannical about our system today, is that if they want to squeeze you, they want to, it was threatened, the way for life. If they want to squeeze you, people will plead out just to avoid that. Now, this man will not accept a felony plea even on one count. Why should you have that on your conscience in face of your creator? In many states, you can't even vote after that. So he's very brave in taking them on. Of course, his wife, Monica, is brave to stand by his side. But Mueller knows the score. But in this town, which has become so corrupt, so politicized, both establishments of both political parties, we saw Mitt Romney yesterday got a shine at the president, he wants to be president still, is that you can't stand up for criticism. You have to play their game. And Dr. Corsi and I will not play their game. So just God.
The last thing I want to comment on is that where the Mueller decided that all blew up. So when I was winning, as I said, offered all of my computers, my backup time machines and computer email accounts, cell phones. Mueller was convinced I had it was all the entire Russian collusion case turned on Jerome Corsi. And I was the one who had contact with Julian Assange and told Roger Stone all about Julian Assange because he sent emails. I wrote in July and August and phone calls as they knew. In July and August 2016, when my wife and I at our 25th wedding anniversary in Italy. I've never spoken with Julian Assange. I've never had any contact with him of any kind. Don't know him. Never had zero, no communications whatsoever, directly or indirectly. And when I refused to budge from that truth, Special Counsel blew it up, threatened to put me in prison the rest of my life, and I would not lie, despite enormous psychological pressure, to give Mueller what he wanted. This breaks Mueller's case. It all turned on me. and I told him take a hike. I don't know Julian Assange, I just figured it out. Assange had Podesta's emails, and it turned out I was correct. And Mueller can't accept that. Mueller has nothing. He's bankrupt, the investigation is at zero, and if it comes down to wanting to put a 17-year-old man like myself in prison for refusing to lie, give Mueller what he wants, so be it. All of you need to be here today to understand we will continue to fight. Mueller be wise to just settle this case. Every time we're rejected, we're going to a higher level. This is a new platform. Today was a great victory. We cannot lose this case because we refuse to quit fighting. Thank you all very much.
God bless.
Could you all invite Julian Assange to testify? Or should President Trump invite Julian Assange?
And I never got anything.
Stream?
Let him